Ordered, and I'll take this adjournment for this meeting of the Cambuslang and Rutherglen Area Committee held on the 14th of December 2022. I have apologies from Councillor Bradley. Councillor Brogan? I don't see anything at the moment from Councillor Brogan. Councillor Brown? Again, I don't see anything from Councillor Brown at the moment. I can see that Councillor Calicus is at the meeting, as is Councillor Cowan and Councillor Cowie. Councillor Fulton is at the meeting. I have apologies from Councillor Lennon. I can see that Councillor Loudon is at the meeting, as is Councillor Nugent. Councillor Ray is at the meeting and Councillor Walker is also at the meeting. There are a number of officers present at the meeting, and with that I'll hand back to you, Chair, for today's business.
Thanks, Pauline. Okay, we'll move to item 1 on the agenda. Do we have any declarations of interest? Okay, I don't see any hands. We'll move to item number 2, minutes of the previous meeting. Do we have any questions or comments? Okay, I'll move the minutes as a correct record. Could I have a seconder, please? Thanks, Margaret. Okay, we'll move to item 3 on the agenda, Education Scotland report. It's an update from St Cadoc's Primary School. We're joined by the head teacher, Lorraine Cassidy, and Martina Hendry will talk us through the report. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and Councillors. My name is Martina Hendry and I'm the Quality Link Officer for St Cadoc's Primary School, and I'm very pleased to be here today with the head teacher, Mrs Lorraine Cassidy, to advise members on the outcome of the school's recent HMIE inspection. Education Scotland undertook a short model inspection on the quality of educational provision within St Cadoc's Primary School during the week beginning the 19th of September 2022, with the report being published on the 1st of November 2022. The short model inspection focuses on only 2 quality indicators from How Good Is Our School, and these are Quality Indicator 2.3, Learning, Teaching and Assessment, and Quality Indicator 3.2, Raising Attainment and Achievement, for which the school received for 2.3, Learning, Teaching and Assessment, an evaluation of good, and 3.2, Raising Attainment and Achievement, an evaluation of good. The school is a denominational school situated in the halfway area of Cambuslang. The school currently has a roll of 141 pupils spread over 6 classes. 48% of the learners are living within Scottish Index of Multiple Deprivation deciles 1 and 2, and if we add in there the free school meal entitlement, this takes that to a total of 58% of the learners within the school. The current head teacher took up her post in November 2016, and the relationships across the school were recognised during the inspection as very positive and caring. The team commented on staff collectively across the school having a highly developed knowledge of each child and their unique needs. This results in staff understanding children well and delivering appropriately timed interventions to support their learner journey. The Education Scotland team also recognised the positive impact of the school's detailed assessment framework and robust data, including that from prior to the pandemic, to illustrate the progressive attainment of children across the areas of literacy, numeracy and health and wellbeing. They also commented on the school using data effectively to monitor the attainment gap and deploying effective strategies to help all children to attain and make very good progress in their learning. While this was affected by the pandemic, the team recognised the very positive impact of the measures and approaches pre-pandemic and the commitment by all staff to ensure that this work is continued and built upon. The areas for development noted by Education Scotland had already been identified by the head teacher and the school as part of their own school self-evaluation. The school are already working on the identified areas for continued development, and these are central to the school's improvement plan for 2022-23. The head teacher has clear plans in place to support the continued development of high quality learning and teaching and to continue to raise attainment with a particular focus on writing and numeracy. The School Quality Link Officer, myself, will continue to work with the school to support their plans for improvement moving forward. Education Scotland have intimated that they are confident that the school will work forward to take these areas of improvement and will make no further visits in connection with the report. The current head teacher is due to retire in January 2023. An acting head teacher has already been identified and a handover has taken place to ensure a smooth transition as the school continues with its positive approach. The post will be advertised in the new year. I take this opportunity to thank Mrs Cassidy for her years of service to education and her commitment to improving outcomes for our young people in St Cadocs and across South Lanarkshire Council. The committee is therefore asked to approve the following recommendation to note the Education Scotland report on St Cadocs Primary School. Thank you, and we welcome any comments or questions.
Thank you, Martina. Okay, we'll open up to questions. Katie?
Hi, thanks very much, Carol. Good afternoon, everyone. Just a very quick comment to add my own best wishes into Mrs Cassidy for her retirement. That's a great legacy she's leaving the school in terms of a fantastic inspection report there, and especially given all the difficulties that we're recognising it post-pandemic as well. And it's always great to hear that that what had been identified as areas for improvement were already sort of incorporated into the school plan, and the school, Mrs Cassidy and herself, have clearly got a very good handle on what's going on and what they need to work on. So just like to wish her all the best for a long and happy retirement, and it's a great position for somebody new to be working on, which is great to see. Thanks, Carol.
Thanks, Katie. Any further questions? Okay, I don't see any further questions. I'll just echo the comments that Katie made there. Congratulations on a really great report. What a nice way to finish, certainly finishing on a high, and all the very best for the future. Good luck. Okay, we'll move to, we're just happy to agree the reports. Thank you. Okay, we'll move to item 4 on the agenda, Education Scotland report. We're joined by Loch Primary School. The head teacher is Dawn Simpson, and Anne Jessimer will take us through the report. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and Councillors. My name's Anne Jessimer and I'm the Quality Link Officer for Loch Primary School and Nursery class. I'm pleased to be here today with the head teacher Dawn Simpson to advise members on the outcome of the Loch HMI inspection. Education Scotland undertook a full model inspection on the quality of education, early learning and childcare provision within Loch during the week beginning the 5th of September 2022. And they were in the unenviable position of having the first inspection in South Lanarkshire since the pandemic hiatus. The report was published on the 1st of November. And in Loch, it was a full model inspection, focusing on 4 quality indicators from how good is our school and how good is our early learning and childcare. So for the school, the indicators were leadership of change, for which the school had an evaluation of very good, learning, teaching and assessment, for which the school had an evaluation of good, ensuring wellbeing, equality and inclusion, for which the school had an evaluation of very good, and raising attainment and achievement, for which the school had a good. In terms of the nursery, the quality indicator learning, teaching, assessment was good, ensuring wellbeing, equality and inclusion was very good, securing children's progress was good, and the leadership of change was very good. The particular strengths of the school were identified as follows: the leadership of the head teacher and principal teacher in leading change, and together they led Team Loch, driven by their exceptionally high aspirations for all children. The children were also noted as being very caring and compassionate children who proudly ensure that everyone in the school and every visitor to the school is respected and included in their school. The highly effective nurturing environment in Loch, where children flourish as a result of the consistent, calm and caring approach of all staff, was duly noted and exemplified as an area of very good practice for Loch. And effective approaches to identifying children who may require additional support with their learning and wellbeing was identified as a strength. In terms of development areas, again, we were delighted to see that this was a continuation of what had already been in place in school. So to continue to ensure that all children make appropriate progress in their learning across the curriculum, and to continue to work together to provide high quality learning experiences across the nursery class and school. And what I'd like to do is hand over to Dawn, the head teacher, who experienced the week of the inspection, and I think it's, she's undeniably very proud of the school inspection and will be able to add a wee bit of detail and a bit of meat in the bones for you.
Thank you, Anne. So as head teacher of Loch primary school and nursery class, I am over the moon with the report. It endorses our school and nursery vision and the development of our all-important values of being nurturing, happy, welcoming, inclusive, achieving and respectful, which underpin the work and life of our school and our direction of travel. We now know that our self-evaluation is spot on, and this is really reassuring and provides us with a mandate for continued progression. I would like to highlight some of the particular aspects of our work which were clearly evidenced during the inspection and endorsed as either good or very good practice. The first thing I want to mention is Team Loch ethos. If you come into Loch, you'll hear Team Loch mentioned all the time, and this is our school vision and values. Team, together everyone achieves more, and Loch, learning opportunities create happiness. All of our stakeholders recognise themselves as part of Team Loch, and this language is used throughout the school. The team message is a key feature of our school, and it stems back to during lockdown when the staff performed a video for the children while we're apart, saying that we're all in this together. And to this day, that remains our motto. We regularly celebrate the achievements at Loch Primary and Nursery class, and the inspectors mentioned that they particularly enjoyed being part of Team Loch themselves. They visited the lunch hall to have lunch with the children on 2 occasions. Normally they only do this once, but were invited back, especially for fish and chips. They joined in with the assembly on the Friday, which again, normally they don't do. They normally have a Friday just for feedback, but the children invited them, saying it was their favourite part of the week. That was greatly appreciated by myself, who leads assembly. And they regularly spoke about our real children and how they were caring, compassionate, and proudly celebrated our school. They enjoyed a tour from the children right from the get-go when 4 of their primary 7s took them round the school. It was meant to be 10 minutes, however, 45 minutes later I went looking for them. The second strength I want to mention is our approaches to nurture. This area was recognised as practice worth sharing more widely, and this week we've been asked by Education Scotland to create a snapshot of our work to share more widely. The report stated that children's wellbeing is at the heart of everything that happens at Loch, and we fully believe that children need to be in a place where they're ready to learn in order to learn, and this is what we aim to achieve on a daily basis. Inspectors highlighted our highly effective nurturing environment where children flourish as a result of the consistent, calm and caring approach of all staff. Nurture has been a key focus of our work at Loch for 7 years. 8 staff have received accredited training and a further 3 are undertaking this training this session. Whole school approaches as well as targeted approaches are embedded. The final strength I want to mention is the journey of the school. Our commitment to ensuring equity and excellence for all learners was recognised. Positive relationships between adults and children lie at the heart of all that we do. Our staff regularly display a commitment to continual professional development, to continually look for ways to strengthen and improve our practice. I'm proud of the journey the school has been on. I've been at Loch for a long time, starting as class teacher and moving to principal teacher and now head, and I'm confident that our journey will continue to progress in a positive direction. In terms of the next steps highlighted by HMI, we've already made excellent progress in closing the poverty-related attainment gap, and attainment levels have mostly returned to or improved on pre-pandemic levels. In the course of this session, we will continue to strive to ensure our children are making appropriate progress in their learning, ensuring that we work together to continue to provide high-quality learning experiences. The report has been a great boost for the school community. As Anne said, it was the first day of term we got the notification, but it's certainly having this report, it was a great feeling for the staff. We pride ourselves in effective partnership working and positive relationship building, and we are confident that these strong bonds will support the continuous cycle of improvement. Colleagues in the local authority central team, whilst empowering me and my principal teacher to lead school and nursery improvement that fits our context, have been a great support prior to and during the inspection visit, and we would like to publicly thank them for their professional input and pastoral care, especially Anne, who's always been on that, with there for us throughout the last few years. Thank you for the opportunity to share our inspection experience with elected members. We're happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Dawn. Okay, we'll open up to questions. Katie?
Hi, thanks, Carol. Thanks very much for coming along and giving the opportunity to hear more about the inspection process. It's great to see another fantastic report coming to committee today, and you know it's stressful enough having an inspection at the best of times, let alone to be hit by a full model inspection and being the first person again to be hit by a full model inspection after the pandemic. So in that context, it's even more remarkable. It's great. We hear a lot, you know, over the years, we've heard a lot at Education Committee about how nurture approaches have been developed in our schools and how it's taken off, and we've all been keeping an eye on that. And just to hear about schools who are now at a stage in the journey that they've come along, and we understand all the work behind that, to hear that you're now, you've reached a point where you've been asked to provide a snapshot, and you know that work has been recognised not only by Education Scotland, but then therefore it'll be recognised nationally. It's just fantastic to hear. That's really great. I love the phrase Team Loch as well. It's such a nice ethos, you know, and I'm speaking as not a Loch parent, but a South Lanarkshire parent in general now. I think there's a lot of us recognise all of the work that went on during the pandemic, the way you described with the video and so on, to sort of keep that feeling of the team and the school together. I know it's really to be commended, and to see that that's actually been picked up in the sort of first batch of post-pandemic inspection reports is great as well. So I just wanted to make that comment, and I hope you can go back to your staff and pass on the news that elected members were really impressed to hear that. It was a fantastic report. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katie. Okay, Roberts?
Thanks very much. Sorry to come in late, first of all. I got some technical problems. I couldn't quite find the relevant button, but I heard the keywords, which is quite important, I think. I'd like to just add my voice to the congratulations. I mean, knowing Loch Primary, knowing Dawn, I'm actually not surprised at the inspection report. I think you can feel it going into Loch Primary itself, the atmosphere in the school and so forth. So I know she's very proud of the results, and quite rightly so. And I'd just like to add my thanks to her for all the work that she and her staff have done, and to wish her well for the future. And obviously pass on all this key information as to how to get through an HMI successfully to all the other teachers in South Lanarkshire as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. Okay, Margaret Kivy?
Hi Carol, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's you, Margaret.
Just like to say once again, congratulations to head teacher, the teachers, especially the kids. Well done, the nursery staff, Team Loch, great, and I did see the video that was done. It was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, well done to everybody involved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Margaret. Margaret Walker?
Same thing, congratulations. I mean, particularly when you think of what the schools have gone through in the last couple of years, and the kind of really magnificent effort that was made by teachers to make sure that people didn't fall too far behind. I mean, obviously there was an impact, but from these reports, that's been caught up, and things are starting to go really well again. So I was just echo my congratulations and thank you for all the great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Margaret. Okay, I don't see any other hands. Are we happy to agree the reports? Thanks, Margaret. Just to finish, you know, congratulations on an excellent report. As you say, first inspection and got us off to a great start. So really well done, and please pass on our thanks to everyone involved. Okay, we'll move to item 5 on the agenda, and that's coordination of roadworks. We're joined by Grant Newbigging and Martin Muir. Thanks, Grant.
Good afternoon, Chair and Councillors. My name is Grant Newbiggie and I'm the Roads Area Manager for the Clydesdale and Hamilton area, and I'm also responsible for the Street Works team who are involved in the coordination of roadworks throughout South Lanarkshire. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today on the coordination of roadworks. It can be quite a challenging time with the amount of works in the network. So in terms of the paper today, the committee is asked to approve and note the contents of the report. A little bit about the background. All roadworks are carried out by both roads authorities, in our case the council, and utility companies or statutory undertakers are carried out under various acts of legislation. All statutory undertakers have a right to undertake works to provide a supply and duty to maintain their services under the above acts and the associated codes of practice. Statutory undertakers do not require specific permissions from the council to undertake their works, but are bound by legislation and codes of practice to ensure the following. An appropriate notice is registered on the Scottish Roadworks Register, detailing the works. The correct statutory noticing period is complied with. Traffic management is detailed and the correct permits and associated road restrictions are applied for. Works are undertaken safely on site. Reinstatements of roads and footpaths and verges are to the correct specification, and any other conditions applied by the council are complied with. So in terms of the coordination of roadworks, given the many services that are in the public roads and footways, this generates a large volume of work notices from various undertakers, as well as from our own internal council works. To put this into perspective, there have been 8,830 works commenced notices registered for the year the 1st of April 2021 to the 31st of March 2022, and 5,601 from the 1st of April 2022 to the 22nd of November 2022 in the South Lanarkshire Council area alone. The Council's responsibility is to ensure that works are noticed correctly, coordinated, carried out safely with minimal disruption to the public, and any excavation or disturbance of the public roads, footways and verges is reinstated appropriately to ensure the structure integrity of the road is protected. In terms of inspections and reinstatements, all council and statutory undertaker works require to be reinstated to the specification contained within the Code of Practice specification of the reinstatement of openings in roads. This lays down specific details in terms of material, layer thickness, compaction and expected standards in terms of workmanship and performance. I would note that a guarantee period is applied to reinstatements of 2 years, and that's 3 years for deeper reinstatements, and this is due to be extended to up to 6 years in the coming years. In terms of Roads Authorities and Utilities Committee in Scotland, the Roads Authorities and Utilities Committee in Scotland, known as ROCS, provides at a national level coordination and overview of activities carried out on roads under the Streetworks element of the New Roads and Streetworks Act, as amended by the Transport Scotland Act. ROCS comprises representatives of roads authorities, including Transport Scotland, as Roads Authority for Trunk Roads, and of the Scottish Joint Utilities, together with representatives of the Scottish Government. The Scottish Roadworks Commissioner is an independent public official established under Section 16 of the Transport Scotland Act 2005 and is accountable to the Scottish Ministers and ultimately the Scottish Parliament. In terms of our own Streetworks team within South Lanarkshire, we have a dedicated Streetworks team responsible for the coordination of all roadworks within South Lanarkshire. This is made up of an engineering team, central functions team and an inspections team. Works on site in terms of our Streetworks team, any non-compliance with legislation and any issues that cause concern for safety on the site can result in the works being immediately stopped by the Council until the matters are addressed. Fixed penalty notices are issued by the Council to statutory undertakers for non-compliance with noticing and associated misdemeanours. More severe penalties and improvement plans can be issued by the Scottish Roadworks Commissioner to both councils and statutory undertakers for continued poor performance and non-compliance. I would just note there are no employee implications associated with this report. There are no financial implications associated with this report. There are no significant implications in terms of climate change, sustainability and environmental implications with this report, and we would ask for the report to be noted, and we're happy to take any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thanks, Grant. Okay, we'll open it up to questions. Margaret Walker.
Okay, thanks, Chair. Just to thank you for the report. I had actually requested, and I think some of my colleagues, Councillor Cowie, had requested that someone come and explain what the process is, because myself and other colleagues who I'm sure will come in have been inundated with irate people, particularly around the city fibre work, and there has been breaches of safety. One example was, a footpath was pulled up, kids were walking on the road, it wasn't replaced. There's issues around work was going on when there was no lighting on the street. That obviously though was down to Scottish Power, who hadn't done the repair. But that was an extremely dangerous situation because there were, holes and platforms all over the place. Also, and I'd raised this before, around the I know they don't have to consult with residents. I know they are entitled legally to do what they do, but the fact that there's not even, the courtesy of informing people that tomorrow morning you're going to wake up and your path's not going to be there when you step outside your gate. So it was really in the context of all of that, and I had specifically asked for the information around what is our role in making sure that they work safely, and what are the penalties that we can impose on them, and how often, do we go out and inspect that work. So that's certainly, it's given me some information, at least in relation to that. And to be fair, in the recent past, I haven't had any other constituents coming on to me, so, hopefully maybe the problems have been resolved. But it's just really people who just feel they're just been roughshod, no consultation, no discussion. You just wake up in the morning, you come out the door, and there's a hole in front of your gate. So, I mean, obviously, I'm happy, I'm reassured by the fact you're saying you've got your inspection teams and your engineering teams, and they're keeping on top of it. And if you could maybe, say a wee bit more about how, do they go out regularly to inspect the work, and if so, if there is a breach, have there been a lot of sort of fixed term notices or penalties issued? Thank you.
Yes, there is an inspection. There is the inspection team. They are out in the network daily. Certainly, there is a lot of works on the network just now, and you could be finding it's actually a backlog from during COVID, where there wasn't as many works being carried out. Just in terms of the fixed penalty notices, the fixed penalty notices are £120 per failure. That's discounted to £80 per day. In terms of some of the total costs to that, in 2021 for East Kilbride and Rutherglen area, fixed penalty notices totalled just over £21,000. This year to date, we're at just almost £14,000 for the East Kilbride and Rutherglen area. And just in relation to City Fibre, this year to date, the fines are £1,200 to date for that. So it lets you see that we are actually, hopefully gives you the assurance that you'll see the inspection team are out there, and if there's any non-compliance with any of the codes or anything like that, we are trying to take action as much as we can with the resources we have available.
In terms of how they sort of interact with the residents, has anybody, kind of said to them, can they try and do that just as a courtesy, to maybe, explain to the, residents in the street what's going on and what's going to happen, or whose role it is to actually do that? Thanks.
Our council, like many councils, are represented in the Rocks group, and what they do is the utility companies are also represented there. There is reminders certainly put out, to actually, whilst it's not written in law that they must notify anyone, we do have reminders. Just in terms of City Fibre, when they actually started, a lot of works within South Lanarkshire, we did have a number of meetings with them, and it's something we say to all statutory undertakers. Try and notify the residents, keep the residents happy, keep them aware of what's going on, and you'll find if you do that, your works will go very smoothly if you can keep everyone happy. And just briefed of what's happening on a daily basis, and you'll get cooperation from them as well. So we can only remind them, but it's something we try and do as regularly as possible.
Okay, Margaret Cowie.
Hi, I'm just going to come in and echo some of Margaret's sentiments. No doubt yourself, Carol, and all the other councillors have been inundated as well. I know in my own area, Fernhill, my goodness, I'm getting it, I don't know how many times a day. Nobody seems to have been informed by City Fibre that these works are ongoing, be it that I was assured that everybody was getting lettered. That doesn't seem to have happened. They're only the company that's doing the work, they're supposed to only be digging up one side of the street. There's supposed to be boards down. I went along the street this morning, both sides of the street were dug up. Now, people are having to walk on the road to get past this. Be it that they're doing it in 2 or 3 days, that's not the point. The point is that these streets are getting dug up. It is a matter of people's safety. One man and his wee boy nearly got knocked down going to school the other day. When the residents are approaching the contractors, the men are saying that they don't understand them, they don't speak English. I will say that the council officer who is overseeing this is absolutely brilliant. You know, I think I've got his number on speed dial just now. He's coming out, he's following up everything, any complaint we get, but also, is there nothing that can be done about the state they're leaving the pavements in? Surely you can't just be left with one big trench. It looks an absolute mess. All this has just been really, really inconvenient. You know, there hasn't been enough information to people from City Fibre. The contractor isn't following the guidelines. I've noticed it myself. We're having people having to walk on roads and everything. You know, there's rubbish being left everywhere. And you're getting, we all know, we're getting irate constituents coming on to us. You know, it's all people are talking about just now. So I would just like to say, ask City Fibre, duty bound to inform residents that this work is going on. If they aren't, they really should be telling people. Oh, excuse me, my dog's jumping. So
I'll never complain about dogs being featured, so don't worry about that, Margaret, never.
My goodness. And also, just to say thanks to the officer who's out and about, but also, could somebody have a word with this company? We're all clearly seeing breaches that shouldn't be happening. Sorry, Carol. I'm getting attacked by a dog.
Thanks, Margaret. Grant.
Statutory requirement for these companies to individually notify residents, but as we said before, we do try and remind them at any opportunity we can of the benefits of public consultation and notification. What we will do is certainly I'll have a note that your the kind comments about my officer. I'll pass them on to him. We will certainly be keeping an eye on any of the works that City Fibre are doing within the area. As I say, all reinstatements have to be carried out to the specification. If they're not carried out to the specification, these companies will be issued with fixed penalty notices. And I hope you can see that we are actually doing that from some of the figures that I provided. There is a lot of works on the network just now, and that has been the case for quite a number of months now. But I can assure you we will endeavour to do what we can when we've got the resources available to make sure that these companies are being fully inspected.
Thank you, Grant. Okay, Norman.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Norman.
Right, excellent, thanks. Thank you, Chair. I suppose I'm just sort of maybe building on the point made there by Margaret, more to ask in terms of the sort of time scale that's allowed for these works. Is there any sort of limit limits as to how long they can take to do the work, or because at times it does seem as if they'll sort of dig a bit up, maybe fill in the hole, but not actually finish off the work for quite a long time, then eventually come back and do that. So you're left with these sort of half-finished bits here and there, and bits cordoned off in corners, and so I think my question is there a time limit that they have to finish what by?
A lot of the timescales are dictated to by their contractors doing it, for how long it needs to the works take, the physical works actually take to carry out. In terms of timescales, there is because they have to effectively, the utility companies have to book a slot within the road. They're governed by how long certainly that particular time frame is available. There's certainly the inspection teams will certainly put pressure on them to try and carry out works as quickly as possible. And that can even be things like restricting them between certain off-peak periods. So restricting works to between 9 and 3:30. It can be things like manually controlling traffic signals to try and minimise disruption, but also in some ways to speed up the works that are actually taking place. But sometimes, the timescale for the works to take place is really dictated by what they're actually what they're actually having to actually physically carry out.
Okay, do you want to come back in, Norman? Are you happy with that? Okay, that's fine. We'll move to Andrea then. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol. You'll be glad to hear, Norman, that I've got a good story about the roadworks. They're in my street right this minute, and they're actually just filling in the street. They've been here since Monday, and I don't have any of these experiences that I'm hearing reported, although I don't doubt them. But what I would say is that the workmen have been very obliging, very courteous to my neighbours, and I think they've been absolutely great. And so much so that they actually helped one of my neighbours to scrape his car earlier on today. So they came into our street on Monday and they're filling in now. I just want to say that we've had no issues at all. Although I can see, I can obviously hear that there have been issues for other people. So just wanted to end on a positive note for you. Thanks.
Thanks, Andrea. Okay, thanks all for your contributions on that. Are we happy to agree the report? Thank you. Thanks for the presentation, Grant. That was really useful. It's good to get an understanding of the inspection team and the fixed penalty notices. And I really do appreciate you coming along today, because I appreciate roads are kind of under pressure at the moment. So we do appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Okay, we'll now move to item 6 on the agenda, and that's a PB update from Laura Mitchell.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Delighted to be here to provide the second update of the academic year for participatory budgeting within education resources for the Cambuslang and Rutherglen area. It's on pages 27 to 36 of your pack, and we're asking you to know the report today. The figures reported at the last area committee have been updated. The new information we have gathered from schools. The latest figures are as follows. Schools within the Cambuslang and Rutherglen area have collectively allocated £110,071, which equates to approximately 6% of that area's pupil equity fund allocation for 22-23. Appendix 1 shows the breakdown of this for each of the learning communities. Appendix 2 summarises the percentage of PEF allocation that schools have allocated for participatory budgeting, and this is the bit that has really changed since the last report at the area committee. 68% of schools have now allocated the minimum, which equates to 15 schools, whilst 32% have allocated more than this, which is excellent that schools have really invested in this for their school communities. The participatory budgeting stakeholder groups in each school have now led the PB process through the consultation, and that is now complete with the votes in place. Appendix 3 outlines the outcome of the vote for each school, so you can see from a school by school basis what they have agreed to spend their PB allocation on. This also includes Newton Farm Primary School data, which was requested to be included for this area. Appendix 4 shows the distribution of the spend across the Cambuslang and Rutherglen area, and Appendix 5 outlines the distribution of votes by the stakeholders across the Cambuslang and Rutherglen area. You can see there that an average of 80% of pupils voted, which is absolutely incredible. 74% of staff voted across the area, and we've had a total number of 2,498 parents vote. And we've obviously got schools today who have delivered inspection reports, and they are just two of our schools that have really embraced this and really spent a lot of time and effort doing this for their school communities. We're absolutely delighted with the work that's continuing to happen around participatory budgeting in our schools. So schools, now that the votes have closed and they've now agreed to spend, they're now progressing with this spend to ensure that the spend is spent within the end of the financial year. And the equity team are supporting schools with that to navigate any challenges and ensure full spend by the end of the academic year. Now happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Laura. Okay, we'll open it up to questions. Katie?
Hi, thanks, Carol. Sorry, I was just waiting for the red box there. Thanks for going over that, Laura. I mean, there's a lot of great work that's happening here, and it's always good to hear about it, and especially the level of engagement with children and young people and with parents and carers as well. Obviously, we all know about the context, but I suppose my question is more around the sort of wider role that the department can offer in terms of support for the PB process, so that quite a high percentage of the way PB has been spent across schools is on excursions. And I know from a parent council recently that they were talking about some of the difficulties there. It's obviously not broken down in the report what is transport costs for excursions, and then what's coming under sort of entrance fees or booking a session or something like that. And at the parent council, they were talking about just the difficulties that everyone is experiencing in terms of transport, with lack of bus drivers for certain companies, fuel costs going up and so on. I just wondered if, as a department more generally, we're just sort of keeping a wee eye on that in terms of what's affordable for schools, if we're offering advice where we can. I know, for example, another school had been talking about the possibility of using trains. There's a couple of schools that I can think of off the top of my head in the area who are actually right beside a train station, for example, and you could get into town very easily, and it's obviously a wee bit of an adventure in itself for pupils. And they were looking at contacting other schools to share information about how you would go about that in terms of organising it with ScotRail, what considerations you would need to put in place and so on. So I guess my question is just around, are there opportunities for sort of information sharing between schools when they're looking at planning excursions, to talk through some of these difficulties they're having and see if they can reach any sort of solutions together? Thanks.
Thank you. We've not had any of our head teachers sort of come to us directly with those sort of issues. So thanks for bringing them to our attention. We certainly would be able to look at solutions around transport where possible. We can meet with the service manager who deals with the transport side of it to see if there's more sort of operators that we could signpost schools to, certainly. But absolutely, we'd be happy to help navigate any of those challenges as they come up. And we do have the Equity Hub where we can put sort of signpost resources, maybe put some of the operators on, particularly for education excursions and things like that. So there's absolutely things that we can do when we know what the challenges are.
Thanks, Laura. Okay, Margaret Cowie.
Thanks, Carol. Just wanted to say as well, great involvement with the parents and the kids. I was involved in some of the stuff with Catherine High and it was fantastic. You know, some of the ideas that the kids and people were coming up with. Just to echo a wee bit on Katie's point about schools struggling with transport, there's a kind of bigger issue and a wider issue, not just to do with excursions, but it's after school clubs as well. Mainly if the school have got a football team. Being on Cathkin High Parent Council, currently a lot of their kids are having to pay towards transport, towards the cost of a ref, and a lot of the kids aren't able to afford it and they're not getting included in the game. As we all know, transport costs a lot of money. And, you know, the after-school football teams are now coming and saying, where can we get funding from? Because the school just don't have the money to pay for buses to take the kids to and from the game. So I was wondering if that could be looked at along with, you know, educational outings. It is a big kind of thing. And we're all keen for like the football teams and after school clubs to achieve their best and be representatives of the school. But this just seems to be a bit of a problem just now. And kids who can't afford it don't feel, you know, they're not getting included in the team, which is a big drawback as well. So if that could be looked at, just expanding Katie's point about excursions and travelling there. Thank you.
Thanks. I mean, certainly around our cost of the school day policy, we certainly wouldn't be wanting pupils that are disadvantaged because they can't afford to do something. Our cost of the school day is set, we've got a sort of small working party at the moment who's looking at trips and the sports side of it. Certainly there's lots of football opportunities, sports tournaments through our active schools, and I know that the lead officer that's leading the cost of the school day is liaising with our sort of active schools colleagues and things to try and mitigate some of these costs and make things more affordable for our schools. So absolutely, thanks for bringing that to our attention, and we'll add that onto our agendas to make sure that we can look at that for our schools.
Thanks, Laura. Okay, are we happy to agree the reports? Okay, thanks, Margaret. So thanks for another comprehensive update, Laura. The reports are always very detailed and it's good to see the continual level of engagement. Thank you. Okay, we'll move to item 7 on the agenda. We have 2 community grant applications. Cambuslang and District Volunteer Care Club, an award of £529, and Resourceful Ramblers, Rutherglen, an award of £1,000. Do we have any questions or comments on the awards? Okay, are we happy to approve the recommendation? Thank you, Margaret. Okay, we'll move to item 8, and we have no items of urgent business. So thank you for your attendance today. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas, and I'll see you in the new year. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.